Yeah, hold on. Let me do my little test. Before I smoke on this pack, man. See what's good. Make sure the audio is Gucci. Because when the ops die, we celebrate. Just know. Just know. Ooh, we are happy. The birthday pass. Christmas pass. New Year's pass. The ops died. We going crazy. All right, so boom, I think we Gucci. First things first, welcome to another installment of TellEmAlejandro, your number one place for sports, cars, video games, fitness. If you're a man, you're here. Oh, yeah. We are celebrating. We got some dead ops. The Philadelphia Eagles got eliminated. We bleed that red and blue, baby, that New York Giants. We bleed that orange and blue, that New York Knicks. So anytime one of our rivals fails, we celebrate like we won a championship. Don't mind me with my Giants cup. You know what's up in here. If you celebrating with me, you know what it is. Oh, yeah, that's a good way to start the morning. It's a great way to start the morning. This is what we're going to do, TA drinkers. We are going to look at all the lit football this weekend. College, I might even dip into college football because I ain't going to lie. Football this weekend was footballing. And we're going to just, go over some of the games, break them down. Look at who's going to be playing this upcoming weekend, and just rock with your boy, man. Hold on. First things first, I got to adjust the audio because I got it in my ear, and I'm not going to lie, I'm going crazy. So hold on. Let me just lower the volume just a little bit because I'm getting cooked by my own voice. Alrighty. So, boom. Hola, chocolate. Buenos dias. All right. Don't mind me. I'm just playing some GTA, enjoying a morning beverage, you know what I mean? And celebrating rivals failing. So, we should start with the games that was on Saturday, because there was some games on Saturday, there was some games yesterday, which was Sunday, and there's one game today. But bump all that. We're going to start with my dead ops. The Philadelphia Eagles failing against the San Francisco 49ers, 23-19. The spread was, this ain't showing the spread, but I do recall seeing 4.5, if not 5.5. I got screenshots. Be patient. Let's start scrolling. The Niners covered. Just know the Eagles ain't covered. They never do. So, boom. 5.5 was the line pregame. 4.5 was the line earlier in the week. The Niners, with no Fred Warner, the Mike linebacker, no Nick Bosa, their edge rusher, no Brandon Ayuk, their best receiver, no George Kittle. He was an elite tight end who died mid-game. He lost his Achilles. So, he'll be probably out next year. And at his age, he'll probably, never be the same player. The 49ers, missing all these pieces, were able to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles, who played poorly all season long. The Philadelphia Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champions. All season long, people like myself explained, hey, Eagles fans, you need to be worried. You're not playing well. Your defense has been elite. Your defense has been stout, but your offense has been very bad. You're in trouble. All season long, Eagles fans would basically say, yo, football watchers, shut the F up. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all just play hating, blah, 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 blah. Well, today's the day. We pour up and we enjoy your death because we seen it coming from a mile away. Check this out. My New York Giants are one of the worst teams in the NFL. My New York Giants played this same Philadelphia Eagles team that made the playoffs and lost yesterday. My New York Giants destroyed them by 17 points, 3 possessions. My New York Giants have no business winning games. They won, hold on, let me pull it up, because if I'm not mistaken, they won 2 games up until the end of the season, where they won an extra 2 games to ruin their draft pick because the Giants are stupid. Yeah, so the Giants won 4 games, really 2. The last 2 they won was fake wins. Out of the 2 games that they won, one of them was on the Eagles. That, to me, was a red flag. Whoa, the Eagles are going nowhere. They're going nowhere fast. When you steal a player, which is what the Eagles did, they stole the Giants' star player, Snaquan Fraudley, a.k.a. Saquon Barkley. When you steal someone's best player and you go against that team, you don't have permission to lose to them, let alone get blown out. It has to be competitive if you're going to lose to them. So for my team to whip you behind, what was the score? I think it was 17-34 because I was celebrating that night the way that I am this morning. Yep, it was on October 9th, 17-14. I'm sorry, 34-17. It was a beatdown. The Eagles scored 0 points in the second half. That's just further proof of how the offense has hurt that team all season long. All season long. So, yeah, long story short, when the Eagles lost to the Giants, for me, that was a red flag that team's going nowhere fast. Now, I watched the Eagles offensively continue to not serve up their passing game early in games, specifically, for example, an A.J. Brown, a Devontae Smith. They wouldn't use these guys early in games. They continued to wait until the second half, until passing situations where the pass rush is coming around the corner because they know, hey, it's going to be a passing play. And that is when they look to feed their receivers in the passing game and be prolific. And I just kept saying, yo, you know, that's going to come back to haunt them. It's going to be a better move to get your receivers, somebody like an A.J. Brown, involved early on in the game because that's going to help later on in the game when you need them the most. And guess what happened this game? Hold on. Guess what happened this season? A.J. Brown is a wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. Basically, he was on a stream like we are. He was talking to a content creator who covers the Philadelphia Eagles. They were playing John Madden. And A.J. Brown, a receiver, a player for the Philadelphia Eagles, was basically, you know, complaining about his role in a joking way. But, you know, in this world, a lot of times jokes are, you know, a portion of the truth, a portion of how somebody really feels. So, you know, some of these jokes that he made was basically he doesn't like his role and, you know, he doesn't get opportunities to help the team win. Long story short. So, yes, Chocolate, we are definitely clubbing in GTA because, you know, we got to enjoy when people we dislike fail. You know, that's just what it is. That's what we do. So, with A.J. Brown basically complaining throughout the season, rightfully so, because he was misused, in this game, he showed why complaining could backfire. Basically, he was throwing the football in the second half. Let me pull up the numbers. Because he was throwing the football in the fourth quarter specifically on 3 plays where he didn't catch the ball. And, you know, that's not going to sit well with Philly fans who are not going to watch this because, you know, why would they? They're upset. They're salty. They're sick to their stomach. I'm the one that's happy about their death. They're not happy. They're pissed off. They were talking all season long about how they were going to repeat. Huh! So, boom. A.J. Brown had 3 targets, 3 catches, 25 yards in the first quarter. That is going against how they usually don't feed him in the beginning of the game. Second quarter, 2 targets, no catches. Third quarter, 1 target, no catches. Fourth quarter, 1 target, no catches. But in my opinion, these stats that I'm looking at are incorrect because I seen it in the fourth quarter. I seen him get thrown 3 footballs. 2 of them were deep. 1 of them was over the middle on like a third down, maybe 3rd and 5. The following play, I believe Goddard converted for the Eagles, so it made up for A.J. Brown dropping a ball on 3rd down the play prior. But you can't drop that third and 5 that A.J. Brown dropped, which was the 3rd drop. And the first 2 were deep plays. The first deep throw that A.J. Brown didn't fully catch, it wasn't fully a catchable ball. Now, some people would say, yo, you got to dive for that. I'm not disagreeing with you. But what I would say is the following catch that he didn't catch, that was a drop. That second one, out of the 3 that I'm talking about in the fourth quarter, that second one A.J. Brown has to catch. And the third one especially because the third one was not a deep throw. The third one was a shorter pass that, you know, he would have caught and got a lot of yards after the catch and converted the first down. So, boom. A.J. Brown, right now, I'm sure a lot of Eagles fans are going to be upset with him. Because this is somebody who's complaining about, you know, his role. And you just got opportunities and you failed. I don't know if the Eagles can move on from him financially. I don't know what his contract looks like. But I do think if I'm an Eagles fan, I want to keep him. I'm obviously frustrated with him, but I want to keep him. Why? Here's 2 reasons. Number 1, I remember what the team looked like before he got here. We need him. We need him. You were whack. I wouldn't say you were whack before he got there, but even when he's a decoy, it's effective because it helps the running game and it helps get other players open. And number 2, I completely forgot. So long story short, Eagles, if you're going to move on from A.J. Brown, I'm going to laugh at you because he's one of the best players in the league. And it would be like a reaction or overreaction to him playing poorly in this game. And that's about it. I'm going to sit back and just watch what you do. And if you make a mistake, I'm going to laugh at you. Let me enjoy some morning beverage. Eagles are pathetic. They just lost to a team that basically had no players. All the good players are injured. And yeah, your boy Mr. Alejandro's ecstatic. Let's talk about the 2 Saturday games. Die, Eagles, die on a road to misery. Yes, sir. Niners, Niners. Yes, sir. Thank you, 49ers, for handling my light work. I love y'all. Oh, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Because similar to the Philadelphia Eagles, how I dislike them, I dislike the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers got eliminated. Let's talk about it. Yes. The Green Bay Packers lost 27-31 to the Chicago Bears. Now watch this. Let me pull up the numbers, right? Let's see what the spreads and all that stuff were. The spread was 1.5. The Bears covered, okay, because they won by 4, right? And the Bears were underdogs. By the way, the Eagles were favorites. The 49ers were underdogs. If you would have picked the 49ers to beat the Eagles, you would have made a lot of that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You would have came up. Just letting y'all know. Anytime the underdogs win, you know, it pays to rock with the underdog. Just know that. And if you're wondering, what did I pick? Oh, I got to let y'all know, just to be fair. Going into that Eagles game, I thought the Eagles would beat the Niners, but I thought the Niners would cover the 4.5 or 5.5 spread. Now, of course, the Niners just flat out won, but, you know, shame on the Eagles. They're pathetic. Now, this Bears-Packers game, I picked the Bears to win. The Bears won, but how they won, I did not see them winning the way that they did. Let me pull up these numbers. If I'm not mistaken, the Bears, who won 27-31, were down 21-3. The Bears scored 25 of their 31 points in the fourth quarter. Jesus Christ. Talk about Swiss cheese defense, Green Bay Packers. That's pathetic. But to be fair, Micah Parsons, the pass rusher, the elite pass rusher for the Green Bay Packers, was injured. I don't believe that the Bears could come back down 21-3 against the Packers if Micah Parsons was playing in this game. Just letting y'all know. I don't believe that would have happened. I do believe having Micah miss this game showed why he's so important. Because when you get a pass rusher being able to pin his ears back and come around the corner, knowing that it's going to be pass plays because the team is down a gazillion points, he's going to wreak havoc. Facts, gotta laugh at them when they make a mistake. That's a fact, Chocolate. That's a fact. Don't let it slide. We don't let nothing slide on this side. So, boom. Shame that the Packers didn't have Micah this game, but check this out. I knew the Packers were a joke. I'll tell you when. Similar to how I knew the Eagles were a joke when they lost by 3 possessions to my whack Giants. This is when I knew the Green Bay Packers were a joke and they weren't going to go anywhere this season. Week 3. They're 2-0. They're going against the 0-2 Cleveland Browns. They're winning 10-0, and they gave up 13 points in the fourth quarter. They lost 13-10. That's when I knew that they were not going anywhere. You follow that up the very next week with going against the Dallas Cowboys. You just stole one of their star players. It's mandatory. When you steal a team's star player and you go against his former team, you got to represent for him. You ended up tying 40-40 in an overtime with them. Hold on, I think my mic was muted. My bad. You can't let them feel good and feel like they could compete with you and da-da-da-da-da. Like, you got to punish them for giving you the star player. You understand what I'm saying? So, when you tied with the Cowboys and when you lost to the winless Browns, I knew y'all wasn't going anywhere this season. Y'all ended up doing a fake winning streak after that, but like I said, it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. You're going to fail this year. And that's exactly what happened. We smoking on your pack. Oh, that's another game. I'm looking. This is another game. Boom, right here. 13 You're beating the Chicago Bears December 20th, 13-3. You end up letting them score 13 points in the fourth quarter and forcing overtime. You lost to them 16-22 in overtime. That's pathetic. These are your rivals. This is one of the reasons why I'm here, dripped out in my red and blue, is because the Eagles, my rivals, died. Green Bay Packers let their rivals do 2 comebacks on them. That's inexcusable. When you're going against your ops, you gotta shoot them in the face. Finish them. But the Green Bay Packers don't have a killer instinct. Again, to be fair, I'm just being fair. Part of their killer instinct is having that elite pass rusher, Michael Parsons, come around the corner. Having him be out with an injury does change that game. But that ain't my problem. All I got to do is sit back and watch you, the people I dislike, fail, and enjoy my morning beverage. Oh, yeah. So, boom. Rest in piss, Green Bay Packers. Rest in piss, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm pissing on y'all grave. Let's talk about the Rams and the Panthers. That game was amazing. So, boom. 34-31, the Rams beat the Panthers. Let me pull up the numbers. Let's see what the spreads and all that stuff were. If I can recall, the spread for that game was 13.5 or 10.5. And I believe that the Panthers were going to cover that spread and the Rams were going to win. That's exactly what happened. But hold on, I got pictures, so let me pull it up and tell you. All right, 10.5 was the spread. Vegas thought the Panthers would lose to the Rams by 11 points or more. And like I told you, 34-31 was the final score. The Panthers covered the spread. The Rams won in a fire game, a thriller. 28 points of the 65 points scored in this game were in the fourth quarter. Both teams. Shootout, fire. Anytime as a fan I can sit back and see a shootout, I'm happy. I'm happy. My boy Puka Nacua, one of my favorite players in the NFL today, cooked. Holy. The parlays was busting. Bumba clot. 10 catches, 111 yards, 2 TDs. 3 carries, 14 yards with a rushing TD. Jesus Christ. Shout out to my boy Puka. Can you imagine some girl like broke up with Puka before the season? You know how stupid she is? I don't think she realized what she had. There's not no former great player like a Stephon Diggs. Puka Nacua is the wave. If I was a woman, I'm launching buns at Puka. You gotta think, this how you dig the goal. He finna get paid crazy. Anyway, she's stupid. Shout out to my boy Puka for cooking. Rams took the lead with 43 seconds left in the fourth quarter. They were down 27-31. They scored the go-ahead touchdown. Shout out to the Carolina Panthers, by the way, because they're a losing organization that have not put work in for years. And it was nice to see Killer Cam come back. It was nice to see that crowd give an F about their team. I know what it feels like as a Giants fan, as a Jets fan, as a Knicks fan, as a Mets fan in baseball. I know what it feels like to root for a team that sucks and go years with, getting no burn, getting no wins. So shout out to y'all, Carolina. I think that y'all built off of last season. Last season, y'all benched y'all beastie. Well, he wasn't a beast at that time. Bryce Young, your quarterback. You benched him for Andy Dalton. You brought him back. He started to play better. Y'all finished the season strong last year. And look how that momentum carried into this year. Now y'all got to fill up some holes and get better. Build off of what you started. You feel me? A lot of times you'll see a team go through the motions of getting closer and closer each year. Don't regress, Carolina. Keep trying to cook, for real, because y'all were competitive this year, and I'm not going to lie. As somebody who be watching these lines and these spreads and all that, I was rolling with the Panthers all year. on plus spreads, I ain't going to hold you. Shout out to the Panthers. So, boom. We smoking on that Panthers pack, unfortunately. Somebody had to lose. We gladly smoking on the Packers pack. We pissing on their grave, I ain't going to lie. And we're vandalizing the grave of the Eagles. I'm not even going to hold you. Let's just briefly get into the Chargers Patriots. That was a boring game. That game was garbage. Low scoring. 16-3. Patriots won. Let's see what the spread was. I think it was 3.5. But I got pictures, so let me just pull it up. I picked the Patriots to win, by the way, and I picked them to cover the spread, which they did. But like I said, let me pull up the numbers so we could be accurate. I like accuracy. My English was bad. My bad. So boom. Right here. Yep. 3.5 was the Patriots spread. So Vegas said the Patriots would win the game by 4 points or more, which they did. The Chargers have too many injuries right now, so that's why it was an easy pick for me. Justin Herbert's whole left side is damaged. He has a broken left hand. It doesn't matter because he throws with the right hand, but still, he has a broken left hand. 2 blockers on his blocking have damaged bodies. The left tackle, I believe that's Rashawn Slater, and then the right tackle, I believe that's Joe Alt. You're not gonna win in the playoffs when your 2 starting tackles are out. Just a few seasons ago. Oh no, I said just a few seasons ago. Well, yeah, I was thinking about Mahomes against Brady. That was a few seasons ago. But even last year, Mahomes against the Eagles, his blocking was injured up. The Eagles' defensive line destroyed his blocking because his blocking was injured up. They had beastie players, neveras. That's fridge in Spanish. They had a bunch of neveras missing. So anytime you can't dominate in the trenches, you're gonna have a problem in football. You can't have injured blockers. They got to be on deck for these important games. So once I see, oh, your blocking is injured, I know what time it is. A peep game years ago with Bucks Chiefs. Peep game coming into this game. Chiefs Patriots. You don't have your starting tackles. They're going to put mad pressure on you. And you're not going to have a clean pocket quarterback. So, yeah, you're not going to have an offense. And 3 points lets you know they had an offense. That's a field goal. That's nothing. You're not putting in any work. Let's talk about the last game. This was the first game from yesterday. The Bills and the Jags. So far, I got the Patriots winning and spread correctly. I got the Eagles winning wrong, but the Niners spread correctly. I got the Bears winning and covering the spread correctly. I got the Rams winning and the Panthers covering the spread correctly. This is the game that I got wrong. I picked against former MVP Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Boo, Alejandro, you suck. I picked against them. I thought the Jacksonville Jaguars was going to beat the Buffalo Bills. The Bills ended up winning 27-24. Let me pull up the numbers. Let me see what the spread was. I think the line was 1.5, but still, let me, go to my notes for accuracy. Yes, 1.5 was the spread. The Bills covered the spread and flat out won. If you pick the Bills to win, you know what that means. Shout out to you. You came up. And boom, let's talk about this game. So, the Jags had a costly turnover on their final drive, the very first play of the final drive. I think it was 59 seconds left in the fourth quarter, down 3. It's a field goal game. Jaguars had no timeouts, but still, you can work your way methodically down the field with efficiency and precision. And they didn't do any of that. Trevor Lawrence throws a ball. I believe it was to Jacoby Myers. Let me pull it up. And shout out to that DB. The DB, the defensive back, made a great play. It was Jacoby Myers. The DB reached around. Unfortunately, I don't know his name. He had a great deflection. Yeah, the Jags. Hold on. Let me get a little bit of water because I ain't going to lie. I'm going through it right now. So, boom, the Jacksonville Jaguars had a very impressive season. It sucks that they had to fail, similar to the Carolina Panthers, where it's like you go years basically doing nothing, and now you're finally cooking, and it's like you don't really capitalize on it. Jaguars had home field advantage, just like the Panthers. And one thing I want to note that the Jags did, I hope my Giants are paying attention. The Jaguars had a general manager. General manager, his name was Trent Baalke, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm saying it wrong, my bad. The general manager is the guy who puts the team together. He fills up the roster. Okay? If he does a bad job of getting players, a.k.a. gives the coach bums, the coach has to coach these bums. So if the coach coaches good or bad, but gets bad results out of the players, the coach gets blamed even though he didn't shop for the ingredients to make the food. You understand what I'm saying? The GM did, the general manager. Coming into this season, they got a new coach. His name is Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen didn't want to take the head coaching job for this team if they was going to keep that general manager. The Jags fired their GM, Trent Baalke. And then Liam Cohen took the head coaching job, and the Jags had a successful season in 17 games, they lost 4 games, won 13 games, made the playoffs, had home field advantage. Unfortunately, they lost their first game. But I say all that to say my Giants right now have a general manager who sucks. His name is Joe Shane. I hate him. The day he gets fired, I am going to celebrate. With that being said, there's currently a coach who's available by the name of John Harbaugh. I'm hoping that John Harbaugh, who the Giants are interested in hiring, and rumors, word on the street is, Harbaugh is interested in taking the Giants job. I'm hoping that Harbaugh gets Joe Shane, the Giants' current GM, who does a bad job of getting players for the Giants. I'm hoping Harbaugh gets that GM fired and takes the job. I'm hoping the Giants are paying attention to what the Jacksonville Jaguars, who unfortunately lost by 3 points yesterday, what they did. Bringing in that coach helped change their culture, helped turn them from a bad team to a good team, and now they have a bright future moving forward. Jacksonville fans, keep your head up. I do think you should have won this game, by the way. And if I'm not mistaken, right here, let me see. So boom. Punch out, fumble. I just felt like y'all had a few missed opportunities and y'all didn't capitalize. But I will tell you this, Jacksonville Jaguars fans. I think it's going to be mad important for y'all next season to get Travis Hunter super mega ultra lit. If y'all could do what y'all did this season with Beastie Goon defense and what I would consider mid playmakers, what do you think is going to happen when you have an explosive piece like a Travis Hunter? Cooking. I think it's going to be important for them to cook with Travis Hunter next season as a receiver, not as a DB. All that I'm playing 2 position stuff is garbage, bro. They need you to be a weapon for them offensively and put up points. I'm just letting you know. So, again, I'm just a football consumer who's just watching what I'm watching. So we're going to see what's up. TA Drinkers, we spoke about all the games that happened this weekend. 5 fire games. We're gonna do some bonus content. We're gonna dip into the college football a little bit. And we're gonna dip into the upcoming playoff games in the NFL from the people who won this weekend, who they're gonna be playing next. What the spreads are. I'm gonna see if they got any spreads. What the spreads are. Who I think is gonna win. Who I think is gonna cover the spreads. Because I ain't gonna lie, I got everything right this weekend besides the BillsJags game and the Eagles game. I had the Eagles winning. They lost. But I had the Niners covering the spread. So, spread coverage this weekend, 1, 2, 3, 4. So far out of the 5, it's 6 games because there's a game being played today. So far out of the 5 games that played, I had the spread right on 4 of them. Your boy's on fire. Just saying. So, boom. Let me just discuss the game that's going on today. The Houston Texans, they're 12-5 on the road, going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 10-7 in Pennsylvania. I think the Houston Texans are going to win this game. Let me pull up the lines. Let's see what the numbers is looking like. Let's see what the spreads is looking like. Let's see what everything is looking like, baby. Oh, yeah, the morning beverage is beveraging. It is beveraging. You feel me? Holy. I ain't gonna lie. While we clubbing and all that, let's go to the casino. Let's play some blackjack while we discuss some more football. We're going to talk this game that's going on tonight. We're going to talk over the college football quickly, and then we're going to talk the games that's coming up because the NFL playoffs don't stop, baby. By the way, happy belated birthday to me. Happy belated birthday to TellEmAlejandro. And, this year, it's going to be another great year for us. I'm excited. So, boom. Oh, hold on. I forgot. There's somebody drunk. I got to throw them out. So, boom. Let me see what the lines are. All right. So Vegas is saying that the Texans are the favorites over the Steelers, and that they are favored to win. It says 3, but let's just say it's a half. So let's say Vegas is saying the Texans will win by 4 points or more. I think the Steelers suck, but there's a chance. No, there's not a chance. I think the Steelers will cover the spread. I think this game will be within 3 points or less. Okay? I think the Texans will win. But, if this is what you're thinking about, you see what I'm grabbing on the screen. If this is what you're thinking about, I think the Steelers are covering that 3-point spread. And I say that because the Texans do a bad job with spreads, man. I watched them fail covering a spread against the Las Vegas Raiders, who have the worst record in the league. I think they beat them by 2 points. That was disgusting. Fortunately for me that week, I picked the Texans to win straight up. But I seen a lot of people had the Texans covering the spread, and they failed. And I was just shaking my head. Where is this guy that I got to throw out, bro? Anyway, so yeah, I think the Texans are going to beat the Steelers, but the Steelers will cover that three-run spread. I think that the Steelers are pathetic. I think they have Swiss cheese defense. I think that the Texans have goon defense, and they're goons in the trenches. I think that the Steelers got lucky that we could dive into that last game a little bit. The game that the Steelers had to play to get to this playoff game was against one of my favorite teams, the Baltimore Ravens. They have one of my favorite players in the league, Lamar Jackson. And unfortunately, my Lamar Jackson and Baltimore Ravens lost. They had a rookie kicker miss a kick at the end of the game. It was a 2-point game. The kick would have been a 3-point score, and the Steelers would have lost, and the Ravens would be playing instead. But instead, the kicker missed, so the Steelers are playing. With that being said, where's this guy that I got to throw out, bro? I can't find him. With that being said, I think the Steelers are pathetic. And let me tell you why. Let's pull up some of the games that they had. I don't want to just speak out my butt cheeks. I want to really break down to you why I think these people suck. I watched them be whacked all season long. All right, so boom. Before beating the Ravens by a missed kick by the Ravens, the Steelers couldn't beat the Cleveland Browns, a.k.a. Shedeur Sanders. That's my dog. The Steelers lost that game 13-6. The Cleveland Browns suck, so you don't have any permission to lose to the Cleveland Browns. That's number one.
And Tony, that's the
Number two, the Steelers lost to the Bears. The Bears are a good team, so I can't knock them on that. But they lost. Well, the Chargers at that point, I feel like the Chargers were a little bit healthier. The Packers suck, in my opinion. The Steelers lost to the Packers. That's a bad look. The Steelers lost to the Bengals 31-33. I remember this game vividly. Joe Flacco played this game. You can't lose that game. I know some people are going to say, that's a division game. It doesn't matter. No, you can't lose that game. That was on Thursday. Can't lose that game. Cincinnati Bengals were bad at that time. Let me see the Bengals, because I know they started off 2-0, then Joe Burrow got injured. So at that time, the Bengals had lost 1, 2, 3, 4 games in a row. This is when I knew. You see, everybody I'm talking trash about, I watched them throughout the season. There were moments in the season when I seen them fail, and that was the trigger for me to know they're fugazi. When the Steelers lost that Thursday game, 31-33 to the Joe Flacco Bengals, that's when I knew they're a joke. They're not going anywhere. I think the Texans are going to beat their behind tonight. But we're going to see what's up. That's why they play the games. I do think the Steelers are going to cover that 3-point spread. So we're going to see how that plays out. Let's talk about some college football real quick. Woo! Because we got the last 2 games that just played, and we're going to the final game where my favorite team in college football, the Miami Hurricanes, will be representing, baby. That's exciting for me because I've been a fan of this team for years, and they've been bad for years, similar to my Knicks, and now they're finally cooking. So on Thursday, we had Miami Hurricanes beat Ole Miss, the Rebels. My boy Trinidad Chambliss almost won that game. Lit fourth quarter. 25 points in the fourth quarter. If I'm not mistaken, in the final 7 points, they scored all 25 of those points. And on the last pass by Chambliss and Ole Miss, there was a pass interference by Miami where the DB had his hand all up in Buddy's shoulder pads. Referees didn't want to call it. I think they call that mutual combat. I think that's the rule when there's a jump ball where they give the DB permission to get handsy with the receiver. That's BS, bro. That was pass. That was PI. That was defensive holding. That was something on the defense. They didn't want to call it. Sucks for them, but sorry, Ole Miss. Tough way to end the season. But W moves on. Shout out to my school, and then Friday was a blowout. Oregon got destroyed 22-56 by Indiana. Ain't really nothing to cover there. But if you care, Miami, my team, will be going against Indiana. And I think Indiana is going to win, unfortunately. I would like for my Miami Hurricanes to win, but I don't see it. Let me just pull up what the spread is. I think the spread is 7.5. So Vegas is saying Indiana is going to beat my Miami Hurricanes by 8 points or more. I think they might do that simply because even though Miami has goon defense, they make too many mistakes. And you have to play clean. You can't turn the ball over. You can't not convert on third down. You can't. I've noticed this a lot in football this season that these coaches and these play callers are tricking themselves into using analytics instead of common sense. They're avoiding taking the 3 points. They're avoiding taking their field goals, and they're spamming these fourth down attempts and failing. And you can't do that. You have to play clean. I don't think Miami's going to play clean. I think Carson Beck, their quarterback, is going to make some mistakes. However, though, if you're trying to eat, if you know what I'm talking about, the total points, 48.5, I think that game's going over. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. So, boom, with that being said, TA drinkers, we discussed a little bit of college football, nothing too crazy. We discussed the 5 NFL games that were played this weekend, what I had in mind as far as the spreads and who would win is concerned. Spread-wise, out of the 5 games, I'm 4-1. Win-wise, out of the 5 games, I'm 3-2. We're going to, see what happens today with the Texans winning and the Steelers covering the spread. But let's talk about the following NFL football games we have coming up. So, boom, we have, this is a good one. The San Francisco 49ers, who just defeated the Philadelphia Eagles, Eagles die on the road to misery. Let's go, Niners, Niners. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We love you over here. We got the Niners going against the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to beat the Niners. I think the Niners have way too many injuries, and they had no business even beating the Eagles. The Eagles are pathetic. You lost to a team that doesn't have their players. The Seahawks are going to win that game, in my opinion. The spread is 7.5. Damn, that's a high spread. Then I like the Niners to cover maybe a 10.5 spread, 7.5. I don't know, but if I had to take the risk, I think the Niners are going to cover the 7.5 spread, aka they'll lose by 7 points or less. But I do think the Seahawks will win that game at home in Seattle. What else do we have? We have on that same Saturday, we got the Buffalo Bills. By the way, the Seahawks are the number 1 seed. They had a week to rest this weekend. So now by the way, they're going to be playing now. A lot of times you'll see a team come off a bye, which is when you don't play because you had a sexy record throughout the season. So you get that first week of the playoffs off to rest. A lot of times you'll see a team come off a bye and they're rusty. We're going to see if the Seahawks being rusty affects them in this game and if the 49ers could get off to a hot start. That might help them. And like I said, if you're thinking about this, that could help with the spread. You feel me? Let's talk about this Bills-Broncos game. Wow. shockingly, the number 1 seeded Broncos at home in that mile high altitude are underdogs according to Vegas. The spread is 1.5. I like the Bills to win this game. Who are the favorites, by the way, the Bills. And to 1.5. I like the Bills to cover the spread too. I'm not going to lie to you. I like the Bills to win this game because Josh Allen, a beastie quarterback, basically this is his opportunity. This is his chance this season to make some noise in the playoffs. Well, not make noise because he's made noise in the playoffs, but it's his chance to win a Super Bowl or at least get to the Super Bowl. And I say that because there are 3 other beastie players who play the quarterback position in the AFC, which is on his side of the NFL. That's like East-West if you're thinking about NBA basketball. Lamar Jackson from my Baltimore Ravens, Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals, and Patrick Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs. Those 3 players and those 3 teams did not make the playoffs. They're not in the way of Josh Allen this season. So it's basically now or never for Josh Allen, who's already won an MVP, to cook up in the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl and, not just get there, but win it. I think the Denver Broncos, who do have goon defense, and I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Josh Allen to cook. I think that offensively, I don't believe in Bo Nix to take care of the football. I think that Bo Nix is going to make mistakes with the rock. And if you make mistakes with the rock, it's going to come back to haunt you because you're basically going to be giving a short field to Josh Allen. That's what I'm envisioning. I do believe that goon defense for the Broncos is going to give Josh Allen fits. And I also do believe that the Bills don't have a fierce defense. And I do think the Broncos can carve up the Bills defense because the Bills defense has their Swiss cheese, similar to what we're going to see tonight. The Steelers defense being Swiss cheese. The problem is, by the way, this same game going on tonight, I don't think the Texans can capitalize on the fact that the Steelers have Swiss cheese defense, whereas I think the Bills will be able to capitalize on the mistakes the Broncos offense is going to make. So we're going to see what's up. Even though the Broncos have beastie D, I think they're going to run into some problems. The Texans or Steelers, whoever wins that game, who are they going to play? It's a team in the AFC. Let me pull it up. The Patriots. So whoever wins tonight between the Texans or Steelers, I think they're losing to the Patriots next week. I think the Patriots are going to go to the conference championship game, which is the game before the Super Bowl. But we got to wait and see what happens tonight to see who they play and what the spread is and all that. But the last game that we can cover is the Rams and the Bears. Ooh, that's a good game. Shout out to all my Chirac Savages. I know y'all Bears fans are, mad excited because similar to my Knicks, similar to my Giants, y'all a team that's basically been whacked for mad long. And now this season, y'all making some noise. I'm rooting for y'all. It sucks that this game is happening in this round. I really feel like this could have been the conference championship game. This game will be in the cold in Chicago. Vegas has the Bears as the underdogs. Vegas has the Rams winning this game. The spread is 3.5. So Vegas is picking the Rams to win by 4 points or more. This is a tough one. How do I see this game playing out? Because I think the Rams are good. I think the Rams are winning. Possibly even getting to the Super Bowl and representing the NFC. But man. Okay. Check this out. Let me pull it up. Because if I'm not mistaken, and this is the deciding factor for me. If I'm not mistaken, even though the Bears beat the Packers, they did suffer some significant injuries. Yes, they did suffer some significant injuries. Let me pull up the injuries for you. I do think the Rams are going to win this game. And I'm going to go with the Bears to cover the spread. I think the Bears are going to keep it within 3 to 4 points. It sucks because the spread is 3.5. So if they keep it within 4, they don't cover the spread. But I'm going to go with this, the Bears to keep it within 3 points. God damn, I just went on the internet to look for what I'm looking for, and Jesus Christ, it's action. Jesus Christ. I think the Bears will keep the score within 3 points, but I do think the Rams are going to win. I want to pull up the people who got injured for the Bears, because I think this is going to be... Oh, by the way, for y'all Bears fans, I know y'all seen after the Bears beat the Packers, the BS handshake that the Bears coach, Ben Johnson, gave the Packers coach, Matt LaFleur. He gave him a quick dap, because, you know, he don't rock with him. He don't like him. It was one of those. I peep. I'm just letting you know, I peep. You know, I see everything. I got 4 eyes. I see everything. I just move the dreads out of the way. You feel me? I want to tell you, I believe it was linebacker TJ Edwards, and there was a blocker. But I want to be specific. I want to tell you exactly who got hurt. My bad. Rock with me. Because I think that these injuries for the Bears are bone crushing. It's unfortunate. All right, boom. Like I said, Bears linebacker TJ Edwards will miss the rest of the playoffs with a fractured fibula, a.k.a. broke his leg. And then left tackle Ozzy Trapilo, I think it's Trapilo, suffered a patellar injury, which is also a knee injury, and he's out for the season. So now with your left tackle basically being dead and your mic'd up linebacker, or let's just say linebacker basically being dead, those are 2 significant injuries that are really going to affect you in this game against the Rams, who have a high-powered offense. And now you got to deal with my boy, one of my favorite players in the league, Puka Nacua, who will be eating. Just saying, he will be eating. Sorry, Bears fans, I think you're going to lose at home, but cover the spread. And if the game is within a 3-point range, you got a chance to win. Keep the game close. So, boom, let me pull up. That's it. That's all we have. We covered all the games from Sunday, 3 of them. We covered the 2 games from Saturday. We covered the 2 college football games, 1 from Thursday, 1 from Friday. We covered the spreads. We covered the money lines. We covered everything. The game that's going to be going on today. We covered the upcoming games that we have for the remaining teams from Saturday and Sunday. We covered everything, TA Drinkers. I got nothing left for you. Now all I can do is sit here, play GTA, sit here, play my 2K, sit here, make my moves. So you know what it is, TA Drinkers. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you rock with your boy, because it's football time. And that's one thing. With TA, we love some football. TEA. I'm about to hit this blackjack. I was supposed to do it while I was talking to y'all, but I forgot. Be safe. And Happy New Year. One love.